Alright, I'm going to jump around a little bit. And so the first part I'm going to cover is towards the end here at the addenda. There's certain things here I think are valuable. Obviously not the coaching, because there is no coaching. Alright. Um, Here I think you make some points. Yeah, I can't move my... Are you applying sound principles set forth in this course? You, these principles that he went in the course, they get ingrained in your mind over and over again through studies that he's covering. So it's really important to see them on the chart. Anyway, analysis of unsatisfactory period in early training operations of a subscriber disclosed abuses that prompted the following constructive comments and suggestions. Oh, how nice. Dear Mr. E, we have examined a record of your trading during the past several months and find, among others, the following errors in your procedure and practice. You concentrated on the figure charts of individual charts. You concentrated on figure charts of individual stocks, basing your trades on these alone. You see this? So he's using just the figure charts. He's not using the bar chart. That's a mistake. And the opposite is also true. Figure charts will not show you volume. You did not make all trades in harmony with the trend of the market, as indicated by the averages. That's a mistake. Alright, that's what mostly the first rule is, to trade with the trend of the market. You did not complete a period of... This is the biggest... I think this is probably the biggest one. Because you see many folks, there's something... and this also includes myself. When I first started, I went right into the markets without paper trading. Because I didn't know what paper trading was. But nowadays you have many folks who know, because their platforms support paper trading and say paper trading. And these guys will go into the market. And already you know they're going to lose, because they are driven by fear of missing the move. The FOMO, not paper trading, is a result of fear. Fear of not losing money, but fear of missing the move. So they join a chat room or watch a video, it shows Bitcoin going up. So when they see that Bitcoin going up, why would you paper trade? You're going to miss the move. So they go into Bitcoin or whatever market. So this is the first indication of definite, it's definitely not going to be successful. You must have paper trades in order to see a track record and know if you're any good. Also know paper trading. What is paper trading? Some will say, oh, it's useless. They have no clue what paper trading is. Paper trading indicates your potential as a trader. When you don't have fear, when without fear, without FOMO and all that, because that's what you're trying to gauge. Paper trading identifies your potential as a trader. That's what people don't get. Paper trading will tell you how good you are if you master your emotions using the method. Because the emotions come into play when you're doing live trading. So you will know how good you are or can be, what your record can be, paper trading. And it will also build tremendous confidence in your system. It really is a confidence builder. Then when you transition to real trading, the mistake that is made is going full size. it must be very, very, very little. Like if paper trading is zero emotion, real trading at first needs to be one, you know, on a, it should be like very little emotion and fear. It's not really, it's actually fear. Fear of loss, fear of missing the move, fear of leaving profits, and definitely fear of being wrong. A lot of cultures they have fear of being wrong and associated with punishment and stuff like that. So um, anyway, so um, it has to be incremental. It cannot be paper trading to full size, even paper trading to half size. It needs to be paper trading to very, very small amount just for starters, and then slowly building size. That has to be taken. That approach has to be taken. If you go full size, the 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 shock of FOMO and all of that will very likely screw up your. Anyway, your eagerness to make profits warped your judgment. It's not really eagerness to make profits, it's fear of missing the move. That's what that eagerness is really referring to. You were frequently impatient and acted too soon. Again, symptom of fear. You did not properly estimate the distance a stock should move before making trades. You didn't use a P&F chart. That's what happens. If you don't use a P&F chart, this is what happens. You know, you fail to keep up your position sheet and select your stocks on hunches rather than cold calculation. This is another thing. You need to have a position sheet. Position sheet is a watch list. That watch list identifies not just the stocks, but the positions and opportunities they are set up for. Whether it's P1, which is a bull rally, P2, which is a markup opportunity, P3, bear rally, P4, markdown, P5, neutral. It is a classification of opportunities. That's what the position sheet is. Not just a watch list, but it's classifying opportunities. After you were in the market, you discontinued paper trading, of which you were still in much need. You frequently bought on bulges instead of waiting for reactions. This is the breakout buyer. This is horrible because what he does is he just draws two lines: support, resistance. If the market goes above or below, above or below. They go above, I go long. Go below, I go short. This is that above and below method, which is not good. And this is when he said bought the bulges. It's not exactly a breakout. It's just on the up wave versus the down wave. He really mentions trying to buy the down waves to pull back trading. You made 2-3 trades on the same day. This with insufficient study and practice increased the percentage against you. So don't do 2 or 3 trades on the same day. But I don't see anything wrong with 2 or 3 trades. But if you do every day and you're swinging, that doesn't make sense. If you're swing trading and you make 2 or 3 trades a day, it doesn't make sense. Should be 2 or 3 a week, max. You abandoned the use of vertical line charts, which should have been studied in combination with figure charts, at least in stocks in which you were trading. Again, gotta use them together. You bought after it had risen over 20 points above the level where several buying indications appeared. Naturally, your stop was caught. This again is the result of FOMO. This is what happens. It rises, the public automatically reacts by buying because, the missing the move thing. It's funny because the way fear works, right, is this FOMO and fear of loss, they work hand in hand. Fear of move, fear of missing the move compels you to go long on the up wave on the breakout. Okay? Fear of loss compels you to put the stop close to the breakout. So you get in at the wrong position and you put your stop close, to the bar. And so it's naturally you're going to get stopped out. You fail to place stops and move them according to instruction. I'm going to go over the stops in a bit. I think that's another problem because there's the brokers and all, they want you to believe to put a close stop. But what if I told you that you could put a further stop but have less probability of getting stopped out? So let's say you have a close stop of 1 point and you have a 50-50. Actually, 1 point, let's just say you have, okay, fine, 50-50. But if you put it 2 points, you have only 15% probability of getting stopped out. Which one would you select? 50-50 or only 15% probability, which means 85% you will not get stopped out and it will move in your favor. So, on several occasions, you called up your broker and permitted him to express opinions. This is, I can tell you folks, the folks you think are experts are not experts. They look like experts, they talk like experts, but they're not experts. Even a lot of folks that I've seen doing the Wyckoff method, they're not experts. And how do I know? Basically, just watch what they say and do and compare it to the course. And you see that it's not the same. It's so different, vastly different. So their method is not based on the Wyckoff method. It's slimmed down to their own style, and it's vastly different. I've seen some experts. They what was this? There was I think it was a markdown or something. It was a big move down, and they labeled it a spring. So it's not a spring. It's just, so anyway, stuff like that happens, and I've seen like a lot of other things with fictitious phase A, B, C, and D, and just forcing like indications. This is automatic rally. This is sign of strength. This is this, that. Done in a way that doesn't really, that is just haphazard. So anyway, on other occasions, you allow yourself the luxury of reading market letter, which said stocks are bound to go up when Congress adjourns, and thereby frighten yourself out of the short position. This is the point about news. Alright, you listen to friends who speak of double tops and chart pitches from which they pretend to forecast without giving logical reasons. This is a big problem today. Technical analysis is bullshit. And by technical analysis, I mean a lot of this stuff here that is based on formations, that is purely based on formation. After you go through this course, you're probably going to have the same opinion. Alright, I don't really consider this as technical analysis. Wyckoff I consider is mostly tape reading, because that's what he's doing. On a chart, he's doing tape reading, and the chart is just a graphical tape. He's not doing this pattern stuff. These are principal reasons why you should have met with difficulty, they being summed up in one sentence. You did not practice the method as you probably didn't read the book. We suggest that you begin again. First, restudy the whole course, then trade on paper. Follow instructions to the letter. It's really important. It is. Most people who start the Wyckoff course do not complete it. I know this for a fact. All right, because it's a hard course. People don't do what's hard. They will be more attracted to YouTube video. Make hundreds of paper trades if necessary until you find your judgment is improving, until you have good percentage of profits over losses. Then begin to trade in small lots of actual stock until you can small lots until you can increase your unit of trading. It is necessary for you now to unlearn much what you have been doing, just as you would correct bad habits in golf by beginning to do so, to do what the pros tell you. Gradually, you will build up your ability to follow proper procedure. Okay, let me add a couple of things here, alright, just to make it more modern. Here's one. Dear Mr. E, you used an indicator instead of your brain. So, indicators are, they cannot interpret. Indicators cannot interpret. They cannot weigh. They are unable to weigh A versus B. They only follow rules. Alright? So this is a problem. If you're using indicators to give signals, they will be wrong. It's just a matter of, changing the context of high volatility to low volatility, from trending to ranging, and even the many trends, the ones with high slope versus ones with shallow slope, and the indicator will break. So that's the first one. You're using indicators. Next one will be the next stage of indicators, which will be algo, and all this AI and machine learning that's coming in. The way I view it is the same. It's just a more modern version of indicators. Indicators are passé, so they are going to be replaced with newer forms of indicators that quote unquote learn, and you'll see that I bet it's going to be the same thing, because as soon as you start following set of rules, and you'll see what happens. The other thing is, like, you have to read the course and you have to go through it and work through it. It's not a regular course in terms of, and it's also not really user friendly, but the material is there. Alright, and he does very detailed. So be careful of using indicators, and also be careful of developing indicators. This is a huge trap. I've done a lot of development, and the development of indicators is a multi-year trap. Yeah, you'll learn something, but at the end of the day, you will learn that um, it's better to improve your judgment than continuously updating code and then trying to execute it. Indicators have a place. That place is to give you facts. Alright, like the range is this big, the close makes this much progress, the volume is X much, or stuff like that. They give you facts, but as soon as you go from facts to decision making, that's where they fail. Or they work, but only for certain contexts for a short period of time. or for like a period of time. And even the indicator developers and the strategy developers will tell you that they have to constantly back test and forward test just to see if the strategy works, and then they have to switch to a different strategy to see if that works, and then switch to a different strategy. So they work. Even the best indicator and system developers. In fact, even that guy Thorpe, I think it was. No, it wasn't Thorpe. I forgot. It was one big shot mathematician who went into the market. May have been Thorpe. He, when he went into the market, the, he started trading, and he used a system and made a lot of money, and but for a short period of time, and then he switched. So all of them do this. They have multiple strategies and have to test. Anyway, I'm done with my spiel. Let's move on to the daily procedure. Keep your wave chart and trend chart at the beginning of your book. Alright, so to know the next swing will be up and down, you need the wave chart and the averages. Yeah, okay. Wave chart, you can use a wave chart. Like, it's not, you don't have to really make it of the 5 leaders. I think you just use the SPY. And the averages, just use the SPY again, daily chart. Figure chart, basically you need a figure chart, a wave chart, and a figure chart, a wave chart, and a bar chart. And also, constantly, every chart, like, you have to be able to identify its position. This is the skill. Every market must be in one of these positions. So it's not like, okay, I'm looking at a chart and drawing support and resistance, and no, you have to indicate the position. The position is the opportunity. The trend barometer, like, you don't really have to do all that. This can be done in Excel. All you got to do is just after you identify the position of each stock, it tallies, and then takes that tally day, today, tomorrow, day after, and over a period of time, that the totals are charted. So that can be done in Excel for you. Uh, these changes in the totals are important because they warn you of an approaching change in trend. They are best shown on the barometer chart, but tabulation of the totals is also simple and effective. Like, the barometer chart it's just a I see you could do it a barometer chart, or you could just have a trend, like simple Excel that reads the tabulation and just charts it. By following this procedure, best results should be obtained. That's the key that everybody's really trying to get to. And, from what you learn here, you can make it your profession. You know. But in order to make it your profession and profit, it's going to require this. And this is very powerful, developing intuition. Well, you look, This was back then. So now it's in trillions. Alright. I think that's the end of the course. So going over the daily procedure. Daily procedure, you have wave chart, figure chart, and bar chart. And what you're doing on it is basically getting to a position 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then tallying it so it creates a barometer. So we're done with this addenda. Now the next step. What is this? This is market philosophy. I'll quickly go over this. These are some qualities that you need: judgment, self-reliance, courage, prudence, pliability, patience, and self-control, which is the same as, I think, is discipline. If you really want to do self-analysis, this is best done with a journal. Study your psychological shortcomings to know how to beat them. This really requires a journal. Uh, you see? Dumb as a doorknob. This is good advice. If you got $10,000, don't trade with more than 1,000 and see what you can do with it. All right. and then try with the next 1,000. Hmm. Study your losses. This is a big one. One of the common things that comes to mind is, oh, why do I want to trade stock? Why I rather trade forex. I rather trade futures. I rather do this. Why this leverage? And that word right there is equated with money, and that right there is not a good reason to go into a market because you have leverage because of your account. All right, so you have to suppress all anxiety to make a lot of money, and be careful. Like, there's a lot of psychological factors. If you look at 20 to 45%, 20 to 45% is very significant. Like once you, especially if you reach a large uh, sum, like if you have, for example, I don't know, a million. I don't know. I'm not. When it compounds crazy. 33% over 5 years. It starts compounding. It's really something. Never make a commitment in any stock unless you have made a thorough study of its position, its background, and present behavior. You have to know its position. P1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Above all, do not mix your methods. This is really important. A lot of folks will use Elliott with Wyckoff, or they'll use the momentum, or they'll use Andrews' method. Um, they'll use Gann's method. It won't work because you have two. You just use one method. in many instances, students start trading on some features of the course before they even read it through once. It's very true. There you go. Read it, study and learn the method, practice on paper, and then begin trading in small lots. So you asked the doctor how long you study medicine. He said 5 years. Then would it be too much to request for your own good that you study this course for 3 months before you start making a trade? He said that is quite reasonable. Okay. Alright, so there's a lot of things here, but I think that the biggest point here is self sabotage. People are prone to self sabotage because the market represents all their, the money thing is a very strong uh, impulse, and it creates tremendous self sabotage. So, keep a journal, and there has to be a psychological component. There has to be a psychological component because when you're applying judgment, you're already applying your psychology, and your judgment can be swayed by your emotions. So, there, I'm not. I don't know how to explain this, but there's Mark Douglas's work. In my opinion, you need that work because you must build certain characteristics such as consistency, discipline, and deal with your own self saboteurs. And people have a lot of self sabotage, including myself. I know which ones I have. But unless you do that, it's going to come out in the market. Like some people have a very strong need for control. And what that means is that when they look at the market, for example, they're going to be looking at a lot of charts, and that will just not allow them to focus on anything, and it just gets worse and worse. So the psychology piece is very important because even if you have the knowledge, you won't be able to do it, meaning trade, unless the psychological piece is there, where you're able to self-analyze yourself and you're also able to identify which self-sabotaging beliefs and self-sabotaging self-defense mechanisms, that's what they really are, you have, and how to suppress them. Anyway, I am done. I think we are almost done with the course. What else is there? What the hell is this? Good. Can I just do this? Anyway, there's just a couple more chapters and we'll be done with this course. Next step will be paper trading and keeping the position sheet. Alright, take care.